Hi everybody, welcome back to Samira Wellness. I am Jennifer Andrews and I am a life coach and a therapist. I'm here today to talk to you about acknowledging your feelings. So right now, during this pandemic, there is a lot of fear, a lot of tension, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and that's okay. This is a time for that kind of emotion. But what I want to talk to you about is the importance of acknowledging it. So there's a lot of great positive feedback. There's a lot of optimism out there. There's a lot of happy sentiment about slowing down and making new habits, new patterns, and all of that is wonderful. Don't get me wrong. I personally also believe that this is kind of like a reboot, that maybe this is like a wake-up call for people, that I know myself personally. I'm looking at our social life differently. I'm looking at the classes and all the things that we do on the weekend from a little bit of a different viewpoint. So I feel like there's kind of like this rebirth happening, because that is what happens when there's a death of something. There's a rebirth of something new. But that's a whole other video. What I wanted to talk to you about is if you're afraid right now, if you're upset, if you're stressed, acknowledge it. It's okay. It's okay to feel those feelings. We just can't get stuck there and make those feelings our center stage of our existence forever. Because what happens, again, with the cortisol, if you stay at that level of fear and anxiety and frustration, it's just going to cause you more stress and it won't make things better and it will be hard to plan them. So why I'm bringing that up is because we all need validation. That's just a human nature thing. We need to know that we are seen, we are heard, what we say, feel, and do matter to other people and to ourselves. First, you have to validate yourself, because if you look for validation outside of yourself too frequently and you don't validate it on your own, then what other people say is just going to be like bullshit. You'll be like, oh yeah, they're just saying that because they want something. So if you're not accepting and saying, yeah, you know what? I went for a walk today and I did not eat that chocolate bar for breakfast. You're acknowledging something you did and something you didn't do. So that's self-validation. Not everybody else knows what we don't do. They don't know that we really wanted to tell somebody to go, you know what, and instead we used our big girl words and were civil. So that validation has to come within. Now, the second part is, if you're needing validation from outside and your friends or your family are not understanding what you're saying or don't understand what you need, we sometimes have to ask for it. We sometimes have to say, this is the part where I need you to tell me I'm okay. This is the part where I need you to say I'm really sorry. Or sometimes when I'm talking to my husband, and God love him because I talk all the time, but sometimes if I'm upset, this will be where I go, this is the part where you hug me now, okay? So I have to ask sometimes, because we can't just assume that people know what we need. So if you need something, you have to say it. And sometimes our family's not the right people. Sometimes we need a different friend, or we need a different person to say, hey, I'm really upset right now. Can I talk to you? I just need an ear. I don't need any ideas. So validation, validate yourself, validate your feelings, acknowledge what you are feeling, and then talk to somebody, write about it, let it go, do some journaling, do some meditating, get some fresh air, do some of the grounding skills so that it doesn't get stuck in your heart, in your chest, and in your stomach, and in your head, and all your muscles, because that's when you start to get the aches and the pains, and you can't focus and you can't sleep. So acknowledge your feelings. Yeah, this sucks right now. And then what can I do about it? You know, feel it, move on, and let it go, because that's what's good for you. That's where you will grow. That's where you will feel better and be able to see some of the other joy and see some of the other fun things that are out there, or make them up. Go get some bubbles. I'm not being flippant. I am being serious. Get back to your childish roots and do some fun things. Be silly. Because that's where joy is, and that's where you can help with that tension and the feelings. And every emotion is on a spectrum. So if you have 0 is nothing, and then 100% is the most intense that feeling is, our feelings are on that spectrum. So instead of revving closer to 100, you want to be closer to 0. And then that way you're just reducing it so you can actually enjoy your day, have a visit, have a tea, whatever it is. So if you have any questions, please ask. Feel free to reach out. Feel free to share these videos all over the place. I just really feel like all of this stuff is just something we all need to practice all the time. You don't have to be a client. You don't have to be in therapy. It's just good practice to do this on your own on a regular basis. So thank you again for watching. Validate your feelings, talk about your feelings, ask for what you need, and peace.